WCCO's Home Team, brought to you by Magnify Financial.
A Vikings legend was known for his toughness on the field and for his compassion in life he led after football. Mike Max has his story in this week's Home Team.
The Vikings are celebrating the NFL draft this weekend. Back in 1972, they took Jeff Siemon in the first round, middle linebacker out of Stanford. He's flourished into arguably the best linebacker ever for the team. But that was nothing compared to what he did for people after his career. And upon his recent death, that's what people who knew him remember best.
Another player in his prime is middle linebacker Jeff Siemon, number 50.
Well, you know, I know we've had a ton of great linebackers, but nobody was like Jeff.
He can blitz, cover the pass, and is especially hazardous to a running back's health.
He played with all of his heart.
He was the quarterback of the defense in the greatest era of Vikings football.
He could see things quickly on a field and make adjustments and change formations.
Today, Mulaney, his Viking teammate, is joined by Jeff's spiritual teammate, Dave Gibson, and Jeff's son, who bears the same name, who remembers Dad the Viking.
He was larger than life in a lot of ways. Obviously, his football background, and I was old enough to get a chance to live and experience that a bit in the latter part of his career, going to practices and seeing him play.
But that's not what stands out about the life of Jeff Siemon. He is remembering a father that supported him not as an athlete, but bigger than that.
I think my greatest source of pride would be that he has turned out to be a great kid in most respects, almost every respect. He's a young man of faith.
He remembers the father of four and devoted husband and man of God.
The way that he and my mom raised us as kids and as a family that was honoring to God.
It was a life that was almost cut short. In 1981, on a small plane bound for a fishing trip in Canada, he survived a crash.
I noticed that the treetops were not seemingly any further away, and we seemed that should have been higher, and it was just shortly thereafter he said, "We're going in," and it was probably 2 seconds after that we crashed.
It did a complete flip right into the garage. The pilot sitting directly in front of him was killed. He said, "We see that life is but a vapor. It's here today and gone tomorrow."
Dave Gibson is a pastor at Grace Church in Eden Prairie and worked with Jeff in his career after football at Search Ministries. That is where Siemon's second career became his most significant.
And primarily targeting the business community. And there's a trail of men that are left behind, that are following behind Jeff Siemon, who have come to Christ, who are discipled by Jeff. I'm one of those guys who was discipled by Jeff.
The last time he saw him was in a memory care center. Jeff had succumbed to the issues that affect the brain. But they shared one more moment where it was all clear.
And tears in our eyes. He just came alive. He remembered my name, which just really touched me. And I said, "I love you, Jeff." He says, "I love you too, Dave." The
man who was able to intertwine the toughness of football and provide a spiritual light to teammates with an understated style.
Just amazing human being, amazing man. I'm glad I had the opportunity not to only play on the same field with him, but just to watch how he lived his life.
Made his greater impact outside of football.
As a man of faith, that really was pervasive in everything that he did, whether it was on the football field and certainly his career afterward. And I really couldn't ask for a better role model in terms of how that showed up in all aspects of his life.
And he is being remembered more for that by those that knew him best.
And he was a fully devoted follower of Christ, an amazing husband, a faithful and incredible father and grandfather.
Siemon suffered from memory issues the last 10 years of his life. They will celebrate that life on May 20th at a memorial service. He was 75 years old.